tease. They could just line those cameras up and be like, nope.
Oh, it's us again. No, it is actually champion select, and we have these bans coming out. Seeing a lot of interesting new champions and champion bans come out into the meta. So first ban will be Lucian coming out from Fnatic. No real surprise right now. Taking that away from Sonstar. We've seen that a lot as a first pick, first rotation. Rise will be fired back from Giants.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to be an analyst when it comes to the early stages of ban phase. Lucian, you can expect to go out. Rise, you can expect to go out. And then you can start talking about top lane. Maybe to leave Maokai open. So far, we've actually seen a lot of priority on Ekko, still over Maokai. Teams have been locking in early Caitlyn's too, because when Lucian's out of the fold, Caitlyn just lanes well into anything that's kind of left, and traps are just fantastic.
Interesting to talk about the Ekko. It's terribly in CSQ, but is still being picked up around the world and still doing fine. Nidalee is going to be picked up by a Giants here, or rather taken away from Fnatic and looking towards their final ban here. So we're going to hit the mid lane once again, seeing a lot of Azir bans recently. Victor, again, one of the big mid laners coming back into the fold.
Yeah, Azir has gone through a lot of champs like today, though. A lot of people seem to really not pick him up. This Vladimir pick is something interesting, though. From talking to mid laners, they were telling me when Ryze and Azir off the table, Vladimir goes up a lot in market worth. A little bit of a niche pick here. Fnatic say, you know, we don't want to deal with that really. We'll go for the more traditional, predictable picks. You could definitely see Febiven on a relatively early Victor, for example. Just play the wave clear, play the even matchup, and hope that Knight can't really outclass him there. Looking at an early Kindred pick here, though, on the side of Fnatic, and that's exactly why Giants end up banning it out.
So what are Fnatic going to prioritize? It's going to be the Braum, and that's a very fast lock-in. Very interesting, because I was talking to Spraddle earlier, and it's just like, well, teams picking these late supports now of how much it revolves around that role.
They do, and I don't think it's quite necessary to pick the Braum up early. Maybe it's just Fnatic saying, well, Hustlin, we think you can only play Braum really well, and the rest is significantly worse. We also have to question how good is YellowStar's Bard, because in terms of support tier list, it is Bard up there on tier 1, Braum is up there on tier 1. Alistair took a significant hit, both like the way the meta's been shifting and just the ulti nerf here. But it's definitely easy for Giants right now to pick up maybe like a Bard later, Caitlyn early, and they can definitely deal with it.
Maybe. Let's see what those first two picks are going to be. Hovering over the Trundle right now, that will be locked in with the Caitlyn. Trundle has also seen a lot of first rotation pickups, especially on the blue side if it is still open. We've seen a lot of Lucian and Trundles as those first picks.
Yeah. Trundle just has a really strong laning phase, and because QSS only gets rid of CC and no longer gets rid of Trundle ulti, he becomes even stronger in that 1v1 duel, so you can almost guarantee that Trundle will win any matchup in a split push. He even beats Ekko pretty handily early, once there's ganking involved. Spirit opting for the Lee Sin, because right now it's Kindred Nidalee tier 1 in the jungle, and then anything is open game. Graves is falling off tremendously hard, so people are going for the Lee Sin. Even Rek'Sai over in the LPL a lot. Maybe some Elise here as a reaction later on from Giants.
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, we saw a lot of priority on Elise as soon as the patch came out. That's what people were gravitating towards, but I like the Lee Sin being picked up here from Fnatic. Back when last split, they kind of had a formula that worked for every single game that they went for. Lee Sin was part of that formula, so nice to see Spirit go back there and try and make some plays in the early game. Ekko as well into that top lane, most likely going against Trundle. Can be flexed, of course, to support. Hustlin might be picking that one up, but is pretty much a SmityJ or Hustlin champion, honestly.
Yeah, and this is where the compositions are really taking form. Look at what Giants have procured. Looking to play a 4-1 composition, Trundle on the side lane, the remaining members in the mid lane, and they have a full-on siege composition right now. Group Azir and Caitlyn up, get the traps out, make a pick on the tower with the cocoon. But Fnatic reacted and said, well, we were already building a bit of a flying skirmish comp with Lee Sin and Ekko. Guess what? We're going all out on that. Kalista LeBlanc. Fnatic are here to skirmish, to fight. Not really team fight, but just fight you at every single flank and see if you can split you up. Because while they're grouped, and if they can keep everybody in front of them, Giants actually have the better lineup when it comes to like a siege. But they're so weak because anybody can jump them from the side. Look at Lee Sin pick Ekko flying.
Might be seeing some faster gameplay coming in from Fnatic here with some very early mid-game picks, looking for those skirmishes, looking for those fights very early on into this game. Giants now with their very final pick. What are we looking towards here? It will be either a top laner or a support. The Nautilus locked in.
It's the Nautilus support. He plays it a lot. It's a Hustlin kind of signature champion. Not the biggest fan of Nautilus support. It does okay into Braum, however. That lane matchup is definitely playable, and it's actually an advantageous matchup in my opinion. So we could expect Fnatic to go for the swap here. open up the map, and then see if they can make these pick champions to use. Because if you look at the raw defensive capabilities of this lineup, barely any way from them.
Very true, but a lot of offensive power early on into the game for Fnatic. It'll be interesting to see how Giants operate here. Of course, Sonstar and Knight being the Koreans, and Maxlore coming into this lineup now with this full composition. Looking obviously later towards the game, because once they have a fully itemed Azir and Caitlyn, they're going to hit like a truck. But if you reach late game against Fnatic's comp, you probably win anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely looking at Spirit here. He needs to get those ganks and avoid being counter-ganked. If there's a good counter-gank from Maxlore to Spirit, Fnatic may actually be in a lot of trouble.
You see the coaches Dalo and Lotark shaking hands and heading off the Rift for game 1 of this best of 2 series here. Should be a very exciting one to close out the day and close out day 1 of this week. Should be very interesting. But remember to tweet at LOL Esports using those hashtags FNC win or GIA win to show your support on Twitter. We'll be checking with you guys later on as well into the game. But you can see the full lineups there on your screen.
You say we're not technically
part of it.
Somebody
Yeah,
will be
that's
checking
true.
in for us.
Yeah. I say we as an entire team, you know. It's
We, the broadcast
team
team.
spirit, exactly. We're about to get into game, ladies and gentlemen. It will be Fnatic up against Giants in our final game of the day. Let's get on to the Rift and see who will be coming out on top.
And let's see if we get any creative level ones. We've seen a few today. Always really interesting for me. Teams that punish the generic fanning out. Especially with Braum, you can really catch people off guard. Cheeky little Braum Q here.
Yeah, even on those solo man invades can do a lot of damage with Winter's Bike and concussive blows, of course. Okay. SmityJ is hanging up there on the top lane. Gamsu
here we go.
flash forwards. A lot of aggression coming out from Fnatic. Looking for this kill to Maxlore. Concussive blows land. Febiven comes in. First blood to Rekkles.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Flash exhaust, slows him down, gets the tag. At that point, you're a sitting duck. Maxlore cannot get out because he's obviously slowed off to the flash. Follow up from Fnatic. And this ties into their strategy, and Giants should expect this. When you know these lineups, you know that Fnatic will likely want to swap. Well, how do you guarantee a swap? Well, you go for deep wards, deep vision. Maxlore, he felt he was safe, but on the LCS stage, you run into what you call in solo queue pure cheese.
Yeah.
But sadly, here is strategy.
He should have adapted to the cheese, but his strategy here, he'll be learning that one and learn it the hard way coming into this first game here on the LCS stage. 1:30 into this game. SmityJ, he kind of went back to the tower, did not want any of that invade coming in from Fnatic there. And you can see this mid lane now. Knight and Febiven coming out here in this mid lane. There's a ward up there, just caught Rekkles and YellowStar heading into the top lane there. And Hustlin and Sonstar going to the bot side.
You have a lane swap. Something that pleases every single League of Legends fan out there because they're very much so fascinating.
They're a
And
little bit different now, though, Graf.
Not
A little
always the
bit
same.
faster.
Well, phase 2 can be a little bit more interesting
Yeah.
if the bot lanes like end up swapping into each other again. Obviously, Dragon is a lot higher priority. It used to be whoever ended up on the top side was happy because they got Rift Herald. Skip the Dragon, then go for a stronger push. But right now, it's definitely worth looking for Dragons.
For sure. Depends on what the first dragon is as well, because we've seen less priority on the Cloud Dragons, which...
It's totally not Cloud this game, guys. Not at all. Oh, it's Cloud.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do the Deficio and get the triple Clouds in a row. But, of course, this is the first part of the lane swap. Didn't change much. Just going to see this trade 1-for-1 towers.
Cloud Dragon is actually the one, or Cloud Drake right now, the baby dragons. It's the one where you thank the enemy team for taking it. You're like, thank you for getting the reset. We'll just take the next one.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we'll keep farming, getting ourselves strong.
Tell us when you take it, and we'll just check down there, see what the next one is. Is Cloud, feel free to take that next one as well. But because it is out of combat movement speed, not a lot of priority on that dragon. Take it if you can, but not a lot of people going for that one as a priority. Maxlore has taken away this this red buff on the strong side, of course. Fnatic doing the same on their side.
Slightly better lane swap combination here for Giants because they have more AoE on the creeps. So you tank the creeps, you stand there with your support, he AoEs, your AD carry AoEs, you tank them so that your creeps can hit the tower. That's the generic gist of it. Giants composition does that a tiny bit better. Fnatic actually failed the bounce here. This is big. They pushed onwards. Let's see if Hustlin, if SmityJ teleports here immediately, he could pick up a little bit of extra farm. This is why the bounce is kind of important to be done correctly, but it isn't really punished. Giants didn't spot it. Fnatic managed to push into the next tower and ironically come out ahead.
Yeah, and we see the first back coming in for these ADCs will be just a dagger picked up by Sonstar, but 3 daggers picked up by Rekkles. Kind of doing the same thing as like Lucian's and those type of champions where they just pick up a bunch of longswords, and then what I like to call the 2048 build, where you just build a lot of longswords and they all turn into items. So Rekkles going for this one, of course. Kalista builds a lot of items with attack speed early on to the game. Hurricane, Blade Ruin King.
Yeah, you can no longer go for the Swifty Rush, where Kalista used to build out to be quicker in lane swap, because there's always the possibility that you end up laning against the enemy bot lane quite sooner.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you're not going to want movement speed.
No, not so helpful. Gonna see top lane here. Smitty going back into the top lane. And Maxlore just in the jungle as well. Giants coming in here, just pushing out this tower. And we're going to see both of them swapping up. So sometimes there's going to be changes to phase 2 of the lane swap. This time around, just going to swap back and forth and find 2-2 towers. Mid lane is going to be a bit of interaction. Febiven gets a bit of damage down onto Knight.
Yeah, a big part there was that Knight got the shield off, at least, from the dash. If he hits, obviously you get the shield, and then it's a slightly easier trade, so Febiven couldn't really win that hard. Ignite versus teleport, versus heal too, so no double teleport here either. Azir obviously never runs it. We've seen teleport LeBlancs, but not the biggest fan. I like the Ignite. Unique kills. Yeah. Fnatic, let's not forget, they're running a big composition, and they need to get those kills.
Exactly. So once the map opens up, now that these towers have gone down, maybe we'll see Fnatic go from lane to lane, try and get these picks, try and get these skirmishes, which the composition is really built around. But the first tower goes down, a bit of momentum rather, over to Fnatic. Knight still pushing in the mid lane, kind of going even in terms of health and mana up against Febiven with this LeBlanc. Both have gone back. Negatron picked up by Knight, and double Dorans by Febiven.
Alright, now we need to gauge who goes where. So they're giving more time to Gamsu to soak up that wave. So Rekkles is kind of taking the team player role here. He's going to go and challenge SmityJ and hopefully get him off that wave. While they're giving maximum time to Gamsu to pick up more farm here. Because if Fnatic would have said, Gamsu, you go top now, he would have just missed out on too much experience, too much CS. The advantage would be given to Rekkles, who will likely reswap later on. Unless Gamsu is going to stick around. Because in past scenarios, we've seen actually supports path to the bottom lane. So Fnatic seem to be very interested in swapping around entirely. So we're getting the ultra lane swap.
Yeah, we said it changed. Apparently we're lying to you right now. But
that's what we do.
That's true. That's what we do here on the Pulse and Preppercast. We lie to you constantly. But mid lane is usually the point where not a lot happens. Sometimes when you have LeBlanc and Azir, a little bit more happens. Sometimes there's action when they hit level 6, but often see a lot of these farm mid lane, especially with Victor coming back, Vladimir, of course.
I mean, this guy right here, see if we can make something happen. Here he goes.
Spirit coming in, kick flash right into Febiven. We'll be following up the Sigil Malice and the combo. Easy kill, simple as that. Top lane getting engaged upon as well. YellowStar and Rekkles, we wanted aggression, and they're bringing it to Smitty.
Yeah, they bring the aggression. They're just force SmityJ to get off the wave, deny him experience. That's their goal. But the first blood ganked there from Spirit, and Knight just, he was trying to figure out what was going on, and then he was dead already. So yeah. In an ideal world, he flashes out there immediately, but obviously, yeah, really well executed gank from Spirit there. Leaves no room to react, or barely any room to react for Knight.
At that point, he did figure out what happened. He was dead. 2-0 in this game. Bot tower goes down to Giants, meanwhile, as they had that push going down there with all the members committed to that push. Spirit, meanwhile, will go into the opposing jungle, take away this blue buff. Might be a little close as Hustlin and Maxlore on the way up. Might have to ward jump over the wall. He's got it. He's out. And Hustlin's going to path and see if he can find him with a hug. Especially with Knight coming in. Emperor's Divide doesn't quite catch him. He's over the wall, but he's not safe. Maxlore coming in and looking for this venomous bite, but it's going to be the soldier that finishes him off. Going a little too deep. Yeah,
a little bit too deep here. Giants equalizing. They're still over 1,000 gold behind here. Very early in the game, so they need more of this. Find Spirit when he's setting up for these ganks. They can operate under a gold deficit if they can keep it even, because their composition outscales and has stronger spikes put together in the mid game, especially if they can start sieging. You can have like limited wave clear here. If Giants are allowed to group up Azir, Caitlyn together, put some traps down, whack away at those towers.
Oh, Sonstar caught all by himself with the flank coming in with the Fate's Core. He's going to be flashing away, but it is useless as Rekkles will follow him down. Landed a bit of damage in return, but an easy kill to Fnatic. Yeah, and if you see the behavior of that wave, it seems like it was pushing into Sonstar, so it's very greedy for him to move up and already start farming it right there. Needs to be careful. Rekkles and YellowStar have been doing a lot of work here, top side of the map.
YellowStar not afraid to flash in aggressively and go for that exhaust plus Braum passive either.
Yep.
Done it to SmityJ, done it to Maxlore at the start of the game, so we're already seeing a good bit of synergy here.
I like to see it playing a little bit faster. Meanwhile, mid lane still trading blows. Now 1-on-1, both of them picking up 2 kills, or a kill apiece rather. Febiven's going to be jumping in here, only a bit of poke, but Hustlin shows his face, so doesn't want to go any deeper. No one cares about poor Cloud Dragon, unfortunately. We call them dragons or drakes? You said they were mini
Well, they're
dragons?
actually called drakes now, so there's been this dire debate whether when Europe was calling dragon drake and the Americans hated it.
Yeah.
Apparently, whoever made them called them drakes.
Well.
Now we have to call them drakes.
Yep, wrecked.
It is Infernal Dragon, however.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not it's the big dragon.
Elder Dragon?
Elder Dragon, but it's Infernal
But the
Drake,
drakes.
Cloud Drake.
All right. Definition, got it. Maxlore on his way down. He's going to pass by the Drake. And Gamsu is going to have to be fast on the trigger finger.
I mean, right here, Maxlore could have committed for that gank. Tapped it out, so the lack of vision definitely hurting them. Fnatic, not too afraid of lack of vision. Very eager to set up. We have Giants collapsing though. They seem very afraid to kind of pull the trigger. Obviously, right now,
he's found LeBlanc, and Febiven's definitely found him. He's going to get chained down, jump over the wall. Empress Divine knocks him all the way back over, and then he flashes as he sees YellowStar coming in. What a bizarre sequence of plays.
yeah, Febiven out of nowhere for Knight. He's having a rough time here. Definitely really happy he picked up that early magic resistance.
Yeah, very happy, otherwise he would have been a dead man. And with Rekkles and Febiven pushing into mid lane, get a bit of damage down there. Still no one going for the dragon, but YellowStar and Spirit coming into this bot lane.
Yeah, and the lack of teleport on SmityJ is really suffering, is making Giants suffer, because they're so afraid to make any moves, because they know they're 4v5 on the map, and because the lane was pushing all the way to SmityJ, Fnatic used that time to kind of cross-map, get advantage in the mid lane, around Dragon Pit, in the bottom lane, and SmityJ is stacking up that wave so beautifully, nice and big, juicy wave that likely Gamsu is now going to say thank you very much for, and Fnatic complete control of the game.
Yeah, 2-0-0 on Rekkles. Another kill in the mid lane to Febiven. 3-1 total on the board currently. Fnatic have this 3,000 gold advantage. Just 11 minutes into the game is big for them. And just taking Crab, taking the Vision, taking the towers.
Yeah, and it shows you what a couple of picks can do. How much you can hurt like your economy. Because suddenly you're playing the map 4v5. Which means you can't push out on bottom because you're scared you can get collapsed on. If you generally get collapsed on, you can get something at the other side of the map. Obviously, that guy just died. Like, the death of Sonstar really hit Giants because that's what started it all. Sonstar gets picked off. SmityJ has to take over that wave duty. His teleport is down. And then suddenly Giants have to play passive. They can't make any reactionary moves. And then Knight gets suddenly picked out. He has to base. Fnatic, they just take river control, mid control. And they're playing to the strength of their composition.
Exactly. Of course, Giants will want to try and get later on into this game. Try and activate the Azir, activate the Caitlyn. And Hustlin is clearing out this pink ward real quick, trying to get some dragon control, or Drake control, excuse me. Spirit going into his jungle there.
Nobody's going to shoot you if you say a dragon control.
There'll be someone on Twitter already typing out the tweet and heard me and was like, damn,
I can't believe
backspace.
Pulse is calling them dragons.
Unreal. Oh, Fnatic heading into this bot lane. Might see a 3v3. Spirit's in the
here we
bush.
go.
Fate's call. It's definitely starting up. Hustlin is going to turn around and actually look for the potential engage with teleport coming down from both teams. Sonstar's going to return some damage. Has been exhausted. YellowStar's going to drop. Rekkles close to follow. Spirit trying to put some damage on towards the rest of the Giants lineup. But honestly, Gamsu's a bit too late.
Yeah, and that was mid-season TSM YellowStar right there. The Fate Scout gets used. They're looking for a play. They could easily say, you know what? I don't think this is going to work. And they go for it anyways. He overextends in front of his team, realizes he's dying. This time, Giants have teleport, and we can see the difference between Giants being able to play with teleport and without, and rightfully so. And Fnatic kind of lose all the momentum.
Yeah, a bit of a mismatch there, but Giants making the right call. Hustlin knew exactly what to do, even though he missed the hook. Knight pushing down the mid lane still. Now pushing into Febiven with Hustlin coming into the mid lane along with Maxlore. Maybe they can get some damage done onto this mid lane turret. Spirit also looking to back up Febiven, but I'm not sure there's a lot they can do.
Hustlin's got to be careful though, because he's paper right now. He looks like a big mean tank, but all he's got is Sightstone Mobies, and Nautilus is deceptively squishy as a support. That's why many people, don't play him.
Well, we're going to see that once more. The Fate's Call actually starts it all off.
Yeah, look here. Hustlin's trying to play catch in the middle of the air on YellowStar. But the teleport, it seems like Fnatic's not ready for it. The Spirit's looking for the flank, YellowStar's going in, so this is all in open vision. And then the pretty predictable teleport comes out from Giants. And Fnatic's like, oh wait, you can't do this. Back off. So a little bit of an issue in planning right there. Obviously they have room for error. 3,000 gold in the lead allows you to look for those moves. If that sticks, by the way, the game's pretty much over. So
Yeah.
the setup is definitely worth making for Fnatic, but they could have opted out.
Very, very true. Sonstar has immediately gone for the Hurricane build, has not picked up the BF sword first, so right into that one, looking to charge up those headshots real fast on those minions. Come on, Hustlin, all he wants is a stack. There you go. It's like he was charging up, the animation started, and Sonstar just took away the minion.
Knight's ulti down.
Used his ult. It was on Febiven, I believe, who just jumped right out of it, didn't even get scratched by the soldiers.
Yeah, this is Fnatic's ballpark right here, just going for the little skirmishes. 101. Gamsu usually would lose this skirmish. He is slightly ahead of SmityJ, but even then, once SmityJ pops the ulti, that's Gamsu's cue to say goodbye. Fnatic aggressively moving the jungle to then take what is rightfully theirs.
Cloud Dragon, 15 minutes into the game.
It's actually caught, so it's deceptively, the announcer still says dragon.
Ah.
They're actually called Cloud Drake. I think we need to go deeper on this.
Yeah, we do. Get out there, detectives.
Or not.
Or there'll be people interested, but Sonstar, he's pushing up. Last time he was pushing this far out, something went wrong.
Ooh.
Oh, Maxlore, nice ward over.
Yeah, he's trying to like use his sweeper to check at the edge of the sweeper if somebody's in a brush. Right now, obviously, they reveal all people hiding in there. But Fnatic did the right thing, moving to the edge themselves. It does seem that Maxlore is very afraid to pull the trigger on some of these ganks. Sometimes rightfully so, but it is so different from playing on the solo queue stage. Playing solo queue at home,
Yeah.
you move into the stage, you suddenly start respecting Fog of War a lot more.
And I don't think the game necessarily, well, I'm going to hold that for a second. This Knight is getting slowed down, snared down, but starting off the game for Maxlore was not a great start, honestly, and I think that does something to your mentality. It's like, man, I'm going to come into this game, I'm going to camp Knight, I'm going to destroy Febiven. Oh, I just died for first blood.
Yep.
Actually, I'm going to just stick in my jungle and take some of these camps real quick.
Yeah, it's a harsh lesson to learn. The good old level 1 first blood. It ruins all your plans too, because you have such a great idea. It's like, yeah, okay, this camp should take me this long, this matchup, he will be here. This gives you a really good gank opportunity, and suddenly it all goes out the window. Because you're playing a lane swap 2 on your very first LCS stage game. Now Maxlore moving to Febiven, finds Febiven. Febiven was not paying attention.
Good CC chain, good ultimate, and there was nothing that Febiven could do once that cocoon landed.
Yeah, but he could have done a lot of things, which is watch his screen and flash out.
Well, that
didn't do
definitely
that
would have
though.
helped, but the rest of the team is coming in for this engage. Azir goes up, but Hustlin goes down. Knight trying to put damage back onto YellowStar. The soldiers are going ham, but not enough to take him out.
Yeah, Giants, they bought into the play a little bit too much that they forgot to look who's in the bottom lane. Sonstar was pushing out that wave. So again, Giants, they see one kill, they think they can win it all, and then they go a little bit too far. This is a failed pickoff attempt here on SmityJ. Watch where Febiven's pathing. So Febiven's screen right now is on SmityJ, by the way. Just as he comes around the corner, Maxlore is here. Reacts instantly with Cocoon. Good reaction from Hustlin too here. Doesn't get his hook stuck on the wall. At this point, if Giants yield, they make the right decision. Because Sonstar was all the way in the bottom.
Oh man, Febiven, the ultimate wasn't even needed there from Knight. He was just trying to clear out the minion waves, but had to respect the CC and damage.
Yeah, Cocoon and Dragoline here, and this is what we were talking about in Champs League Pulse. Once they group, they have so much pick potential because they narrow your pathing because you have to dodge your traps, which means you're in predictable locations, and then it's quite easy for Cocoons to hit, for Dredgelines to hit, and if you respect the zone of all these abilities, well then you have to yield your tower, and that's the power of this like 4-1 siege composition here from Giants.
Activating a lot earlier into this game, 18 minutes into this one. Let's take a look at Febiven just face planting right into a cocoon.
I mean, that's disrespectful. If you dash in once, you have to know that your opponent's going to realize, hey, this LeBlanc dashed in once. Guess what you're going to do again? Dash in twice to get the creeps.
Yeah.
Well, send a cocoon towards your creep wave, and you will catch her.
It's not even like a big investment. Maybe he just jumps back. Maybe he just doesn't do anything. Maybe I'll just shoot that cocoon and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a free kill.
For the grand price of one cocoon,
Yeah.
you can get a tower. That's a trade I'd make.
But wait, there's more. Giants are closing this gold gap significantly on Fnatic. It used to be 3,000 gold, is now just over 1,500. And Fnatic, yes, they have a dragon to their name, but it's a cloud dragon. So not feeling super good about that one. And despite all the vision definitely being in Giants jungle, they're now looking to reclaim it. Good old Fnatic Death Brush.
It's really dangerous for Hustlin here. Because obviously, nice support with no way to check that brush. Still, Fnatic are running a pick comp.
Yeah, they're starting off with red. Maxlore goes under the cocoon, connects onto YellowStar. No real follow-up this time. So get away with that red buff for now. Yeah. Giants are definitely reclaiming that part of the jungle, so Fnatic needs to be a little careful of where they step now.
But Giants can play this slow. They don't need to tangle for everything here. Maxlore, good to go to YellowStar. Fate Skull's available. Yep. So he gets pulled out. Maxlore can close the gap on Rekkles still.
Still chasing. And the Q doesn't quite land onto Elise. Spiling's blocked it.
And if you look at what SmityJ can do for Giants right now, he's the man that will actually get them back in the game here. Talk about it later though. They're going in on YellowStar again.
Hustlin's walking in. He's still very squishy. Returns from YellowStar, and that's an easy ren. Sonstar actually just kind of walks up and throws a few shots off and realizes he don't want to be there anymore. Gamsu kill onto Sonstar, and now Fnatic all closing in onto Maxlore, find their third kill. And that was just, I don't even know what that was.
Well, that was a face check from Giants. They were asking Fnatic a question, are you still here? It was a resounding yes. And right now, Giants are going to get maybe one kill, but they're going down.
Giants are still here, going to have to jump back, use the chrono break. Febiven over the wall this time around, not going to be punished. Knight and Smitty being herded away from their side of the map. We're starting to get respawns, but they are too far away to help. Smitty is trying to duel off Gamsu, but meanwhile, Febiven will slay Knight. And Rekkles coming in. Smitty will also fall for what was essentially the unofficial ace.
Yeah, and that's just a major mistake and a fantastic punish here from Fnatic. Dodging most of the damage that they could. Clean ace here. Giants stop. If we wait 5 seconds, they'll disappear. Close our eyes, they might not be there anymore. Well, they were. They didn't wait for SmityJ to just isolate Gamsu and take him on 1v1 with that Ravenous build. Almost impossible for Gamsu to really deal with that. Instead, they go for the face check here without Sonstar being there. And that's something we talked about in terms of communication. If you go for the face check here, you need to teleport earlier and you need Sonstar to be here in time. Look, Sonstar hasn't even auto-attacked once. He's gonna land his first auto-attack right now. He walks there, places down a trap, realizes he probably shouldn't be there, turns around, auto-attacks once before his inevitable demise, and then SmityJ and Knight try to fight their way out again. Pure solo queue mentality as well. No disengaging Giants.
Yeah, I love how Fnatic just blocked them off there as well. It's like, you are not going back towards your base, got herded right into the mid lane, and then from there, there was nothing really they could do. And SmityJ and Knight just got finished up. But got to praise YellowStar as well. Fantastic exhaust, fantastic ultimate, locking up 2 people.
Guess what, Pulse?
What's that, Crepo?
In our picture-in-picture, we just saw another, what's called a participation prize, another Cloud Dragon. It's like when people tell you that participating is equally important as winning. That's right. What you do when you kill a Cloud Dragon.
It's the journey, of course.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Wow.
Destination being a new dragon that hopefully better.
Exactly. Though I believe the next one is another Cloud Dragon. I'm just going to check real quick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, destination not looking too hot. Gamsu going to be in the top lane here. Look how fast he's moving with the extra 30 movement speed. YellowStar is going to jump back to Rekkles. Fate's Call once again saving his behind. Meanwhile, on the top lane, SmityJ trading off with Ekko. Gamsu wants to use his ultimate very early on, but he's just buying time. Febiven's coming in here, and he's being kept in the top lane while the rest of Fnatic come in to finish him off, dancing around the troll. There's not much he can do at this stage. Over the wall, back over the wall. Febiven picks up the kill.
Yeah, straight flash into the wall from SmityJ. We see the strength in the 1v1 duel. Nobody can deal with this Trundle. That's why he's such a staple pick with an incredibly high win rate over in the LPL2 and LCK. But if he falls behind, or the team has no map control, or the team can't do anything when he gets ganged up upon, then obviously there's not much SmityJ can do.
Whoop.
Hey!
Got him. No real follow-up there, unfortunately, but stop the home guards at least. YellowStar and Rekkles pushing up the mid lane. Down to half health already.
Is he face shaking? Okay.
Ooh, Spirit. He's waiting. Oh, it looks so good. Now it looks so bad. Sonstar's gonna bite the dust. Just walk away, man. Goes down to Spirit in the bush.
This is one of those examples where my team would backping my corpse.
Ah, yeah.
Like, you shouldn't go there, and then I learn, obviously.
I see. Yep. And then, of course, Sonstar will put the assist please thing down on the same area. Where was the team, honestly, in that situation? No vision was put down by Giants, but Fnatic going to be very happy with that pickoff, which also translates into a tower, and the gold advantage is now opening back up again. 7,000 gold.
At this point, we may realize or learn what open means in Korea.
Yep.
Open mid boys. No, it's a rough point for right now for Giants. Their composition relies entirely around grouping, but it's similar to what we saw in some of the earlier games today. Origin versus G2. If you run a group siege comp and you get split pushed on, you're kind of gonna lose. This is not the exact same scenario because Giants still win a split push. It's just if you get hit in the setup and you can't even execute because of the danger of flanks and just hard engages like right here, a little bit better that. Well, I mean, look at Rekkles, he's just going in.
Rekkles, he's going in. He's going in very deep, but he does have the cavalry arriving. That's going to be the shutdown onto Rekkles. Goes a little bit too deep there. Febiven and YellowStar trying to duel with Smitty, but there's not much they can do by themselves. Spirit's getting turned out by Sonstar, looking for a last auto attack over the wall. Not going to happen. Gamsu is going to find his prey for a first kill, second kill, and looking for that triple onto Hustlin, looking mighty fine right now. There's the third kill and the triple out for Gamsu.
Yeah, poorly engaged fight by Fnatic. Overrush, not on the same page, but even then they still come out ahead because they're playing with such a large gold lead, and they know that. That's why they're opting in for some of these, peculiar engages. Rekkles is kind of spearheading the front. He's like, I'm going in, guys. Follow me or I die.
But he was bait. And hook, line, and sinker. Giants all closing around him. All get picked off throughout that fight. Fnatic take down the Baron. And let's see the start of that one again. Rekkles goes real deep.
Yeah. YellowStar misses out. He goes into Knight here. Cornered. Febiven can't actually walk. Like, Febiven dashes in here, but he can't get in front of Rekkles to take the Caitlyn ulti either. He goes down. Sonstar is dealing a lot of damage here too, but he's just too little too late. Spirit managed to get out. At this point, cleanup crew comes in. Follow your screen. Febiven enters the fray. It's too much damage with this pickup. If a pickup bleeds, they can really take crazy team fights. If they run into one big tank though, when they're behind, obviously they falter entirely. Fnatic knew the risk coming in, and they executed well.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate for Giants though, because when they started grouping, it started going well for them. We're going to make a play in the mid lane. Great Emperor's Divide. Kill into Rekkles to open this one up. Spirit's going to be trying to kite back. Jumps over the wall. Barely survives, but you can't say the same for YellowStar.
Yeah, I like it. Decisiveness here from Giants. Not saying, you know what, it's all over. Immediate engage. Hitting Fnatic in the setup. And you see the power of their composition when they're grouped though. It would be phenomenal if Giants can actually come back here. From 9,000 gold lead. I love it. They need more of this.
Yeah, going to be cutting off the flank route with these traps coming out. And Febiven's going to say, screw the traps, going to jump over the wall, going to try and find you. Gamsu split pushing into bot lane, however. Should be able to take down this tower. Febiven's still off to the side. This mid tower's not dying real fast.
Traps help though. Just at each side, makes it impossible for Febiven to enter the fight. SmityJ's base got cancelled, which means Gamsu can get this tower. He still has to be afraid. Trundle in a 1v1 scenario. Incredibly potent duelist.
Yeah, Knight was looking to go to the bot lane, but just going to clear out those wards. Got a lot of attack speed right now. Spirit coming out there. Going to find the trap. Doesn't find the frogs. Doesn't find Sonstar. Doesn't really find anything. Will contemplate its life and go back to the mid lane. Let's take a look at that sick engage actually coming from Knight.
Yeah, Rekkles playing a little bit too far up. His team's not there. You're not even going to get the siege off. So yes, you get the pink ward, but you're not even going to siege up that tower. There's no way you're going to break the Azir Caitlyn wave clear there without a pick. So you kind of want to lure Giants out of their base. So a little bit disrespectful. I don't mind it as much because I want to see Rekkles evolve into a player that is actively playing forward. And you only get there by practicing these type of deals. Yes, sometimes you may pay the price, but
you learn the most from mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder where the Sentinel came from.
That's why you should learn from other people's mistakes instead.
Ah, I see.
Replay analysis, very important.
Well, here in play-by-play, we make those mistakes ourselves, so we're the guinea pigs. And while Rekkles going to be pushing up the top wave, there is the third Cloud Drake of the game. So next one will definitely be something else.
Yeah.
SmityJ, he's still trying to solve the bottom lane crisis. A lot of minions flooding in here, trying to bail all the minions out. But Gamsu's still pushing up. What is it, Crepo?
It's a Mountain Drake.
Oh.
That's good.
It is.
Because especially these pick comps, they need to get Baron buffs to really open up the map. Because they're also stronger when split, usually. So having the ability to kind of push all lanes at once, and then have like little skirmishes, 2-on-1, 3-on-2, etc. Some ability. Definitely want to push in those towers with the Baron buff. It's incredibly hard to push in a single lane versus Caitlyn. All these traps pesky traps into Cocoon, into Pillar, into Azir shuffle. Almost impossible to deal with even with this large of a gold lead.
Pretty much any combination on Giants is going to lock you down forever if you get hit by one piece of CC.
Yeah.
But Fnatic pushing down the bottom lane here. SmityJ going to be zoning away, but did pop Subjugate, so he doesn't have that for the ensuing fight. Line up the shot. A bit of damage onto Febiven in the mid lane. Spirit will help clearing that one out, but going to be putting a band-aid on the bottom lane with the Azir turret and clearing out some of these minions. But Fnatic just looking for that crack in the armor, looking to find a pick, looking to try and take down one of these inhibitors.
Yeah, it's a good time for us to look at some item builds. So I just noticed this Mage Eyes on Gamsu. Sitting on what, 10 stacks?
10 stacks, yeah.
Gotta be careful. Those stacks.
Yeah.
But also mid laners with the Magic Band boots, something we see all the time here. Due to the overload of CDR, that's pretty much everywhere. You can't buy items and not get CDR anymore, even if you're trying.
Yeah.
Every mid laner shifted back to Magic Band boots.
Accidentally capped out. Hey, there you go. Got it before it completely reset. Small victories, of course. Fnatic will take everything they can in this game, almost cresting the 10,000 gold horizon. And Fnatic kind of backing off. There's no big objectives, neutral objectives on the board to take right now before Dragon spawns, Baron spawns.
Taking control of enemy jungle, taking away their camps, slowly increasing that gold lead. Ensure they keep picking up farm on all 3 lanes. Very important when you run a composition like this that has a weaker kind of scaling, is that you make use of the access that you have to all these resources, whether it's their jungle, whether it's all these 3 lanes. So if you start grouping up needlessly, you only play into Giants' hands.
Fnatic, see how fast they're moving with that 45 extra out of combat movement speed. Spirit is looking to get in here.
Breezing.
He is. He's cruising on by. Look how fast they are. I think the best part of that buff is the particles you get, honestly. Febiven, they try and take away the blue buff, but it is resetting. Spirit coming into mid lane was looking for the old insec. Didn't quite find it on tonight as the minion wave was unfortunately there.
Yeah, Fnatic are keeping every wave pushed. Pink wards up in the river, denying any access to their own jungle from Giants for the next minute or so. And they're basically saying once Baron spawns, Giants will have to waste their 1 boost trinket, which they should likely change to more of them. And then face check or Baron.
Yeah, that would be a smart choice as Baron's only coming for 50 seconds. And of course Fnatic are going to use that to pull Giants out of their nest. Top lane is being pushed in. Rekkles and YellowStar looking to push this one in, but don't want to go too far. Sonstar this time, he might be the bait at the end of the hub, but don't want to go for that kill right now. Everyone's kind of spaced out though from Giants. And again, another 27 seconds until this Baron spawns, and it really is just a stare down, get the vision, maybe even try and find a pick. That would also help.
Jeez. This has to be so annoying for Giants. If we could get like a fucking War Toggle, we could see just how bad it is, but I think we're going to soon see them die here.
Yeah, Hustlin, he walks in, he walks out, he's going to make it for now, but it's the bouncy castle that they have free admission into. Giants all getting chunked down, no one dead yet. Somehow they all survive, but Smitty definitely regretting that teleport, and now he'll go back to base.
So that is kind of the best outcome for Giants, where you face check and you avoid death, but you still lose the Baron. That is the impossible situation that really good map play from Fnatic have put them in. Yeah, the jungle is dark and full of terrors, and Fnatic going to claim the Baron.
Very easy. Going to be spied to the way there, and Smitty walks up, sniffs around the area. Going to be stopping Gamsu's recall, and that's all he can really get from that one, is the worst of consolation prizes. But now that Fnatic are significantly ahead, over 10,000 gold ahead, they have the Baron, and the Dragon is coming up in 1 minute as well. That will be the Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, and it's really important that Fnatic kill this Mountain Drake ASAP. Not because they need the 10% extra 2 damage for towers, yes, that's handy, but because they want the Elder Dragon to spawn as quick as they can. Should they make a mistake here, they want it to be in a phase of the game where they still have the utmost control. Spirit making that mistake.
This would not be good to open up the Dragon. He's going to be shut down by Smitty. Kind of keels over and dies as Subjugate will finish him off there. And that is basically syncing up with the Dragon timer, so not going to be there for the spawn of it.
Doesn't matter who gets that Dragon though, even if Giants gets it. It's more about speeding up the spawn of the Elder. As long as Fnatic then get their hands on it. If they lose control of the game right here, the Elder could obviously shift everything for Giants. Giants looking kind of mid lane third here.
YellowStar kind of steps up, and Febiven comes in and obliterates Sonstar. Rekkles will come into the fight, throws YellowStar in, and Maxlore's also caught in enemy lines. He's going to go down. Someone needs to finish him off. It's going to be Rekkles. Double kill coming out for him. 3 kills go down onto Giant. Gamsu's still in hot pursuit of Knight.
Yeah, we have to question the positioning of Sonstar. Like, you need to respect the LeBlanc. That's why you need a line of traps that you then play around if you're Caitlyn versus LeBlanc. Yes, it's hard. You may not be able to take the tower, but it is much better to leave the tower alive than to donate even more kills to Fnatic. Because when they all spawn, it's not like you're going to walk up and take an hit anyways.
Now Fnatic, tempo back in their favor as Spirit respawns. Just under 20 seconds on the clock on the lot of these respawns on Giants. So top tower's going to be sieged in, and this is dying very quickly. Inhib will definitely fall as well over to Fnatic before the respawns come up, and they can back off. Maybe he can swing to mid lane and take that tower.
Swing to mid lane here. Around Febiven. The zone on Knight here too. Parallel convergence forces him out. Tower falls. To this point, that Fnatic can choose to base and finish the game later, or they may feel a little overeager and go for the fight right now.
Feeling lucky? Not today. Or maybe they are. Rekkles is charging up face core. He's going to be throwing him towards Hustlin. SmityJ's tanking up a lot of that backline, and now they're into the squishy backline of Giants as well. Sonstar, he only just respawned, man. He's going back to the fountain. Spirit will be exchanged, but that is it indeed, Crapo. Double kill out for Febiven. Fnatic find the sweep. 5 for 1. Ace over to Fnatic's lineup. They'll be closing in onto the Nexus towers, and after 35 minutes, 23 kills, 10 towers, they will be taking down the Nexus for the 1-0 in his best of 2 over Giants. In a minute.
Anytime now.